Some massive news. Riyad Mahrez has left Man City to join the Saudi Arabian Pro League. This is absolutely huge. He's one of the most important wingers to ever play in the Premier League. A massive player for me as a City fan, of course. And he's another player leaving European football to play and get his money or get more money in the Saudi Arabian League. This is absolutely huge. What's your take on this as a rival fan? Firstly, maybe of Riyad Mahrez's legacy at City, and maybe the move as well for what it means for Saudi Arabian football.
I love Riyad Mahrez. I think, when you just said there, what's his legacy at Man City? I think his legacy is bigger than that. I think he's a Premier League icon. I think he's a Premier League great, actually. I mean, when you think about players that play in his position, he's probably not the best ever to play in his position, but I'd say he's in the top 3 to ever play in his position in the Premier League.
Yeah.
I think he is a sensational player. What he achieved at Leicester that season was unbelievable, and he's won everything that there is to win, and he's been key for Man City over the years. Featuring for Pep Guardiola time and time again when it most matters, you are elite. With regard for what this means for the Saudi PIF Pro League, though, mate, this is it, Buvey. This is the signing. This is the moment. This is it. Fairly recently, I think you and I were talking about the impact of Newcastle signing Sandro Tonali. And I thought, right, we will never see Newcastle the same again. Newcastle have gone to an elite club to sign an elite player and beaten off the competition from other elite clubs. Newcastle are different now. Your definition of Newcastle is different. Riyad Mahrez going to the Saudi Pro League is so different. It's so different to Benzema going there. It's so different to Kante going there at this stage of their
Because
career.
of his level?
Yeah.
Like where he's just come from winning the treble?
He's just won a treble. And he's not old. Like Riyad Mahrez gets into every single team in the Premier League now. Maybe with the exception of Man City. But even Man City, he would feature.
Yeah.
But he would... Look... I'm not saying that he's a better player than Mohamed Salah, of course I'm not. But if Jurgen Klopp had access to Riyad Mahrez, they would work a way of getting him in the team because he's that good.
Of course.
He would obviously start for Chelsea. I don't think he's a better player than Saka. I'm not saying he's a better player than Saka. But if Arteta had access to a player of Riyad Mahrez's qualities,
for me.
If you had access to Saka, if you had access to Mahrez, you make it work. A good manager will work a situation. So the fact that he has gone to Saudi when he is capable of improving virtually every Premier League team, and in fact, virtually every European team.
It's huge.
This is it for Saudi.
And whatever you say about it as well, obviously he's a Muslim as well. He's coming from an Islamic country. It's a big move for Saudi Arabia, kind of the interest in football in that country. And I'm sure on a personal level, obviously I can't speak for him, but I think going to Saudi Arabia and promoting football there will surely be high on his priorities as well, which is obviously massive for him. And then we have to talk about the finances. The fact that Saudi Arabia can legitimately draw someone of his quality, again, as you say, in the peak of their powers, to play in that league, where at the moment it is getting better. 6 months ago, there was barely anyone there. Now there's 10, 11, 12 players, and Riyad Mahrez is going to be the next one.
Oh, he's a jewel in the crown there as well now. This is the best player playing there, isn't it?
I think his reputation worldwide because of his skills, his technical proficiency, and then again, coming from North Africa, we have to say that he's one of the most the important players to ever leave Africa and play in European football ever, for how he's, even the lesser, take away City. And the issue with City is he became a little bit of a passenger in the sense that De Bruyne was doing a lot and Aguero at points and all these other players.
He seemed to be the player that would score that goal, that massive goal when you so desperately needed it.
The Champions League final run, I wish he'd had a better game against you in the Champions League final, because I think we would have beaten you. I think he was... I don't know who played. It was a Ben Chilwell, might have done a job on him. Whatever, he back 5. But in that run, in the run into the Champions League final, we beat PSG. Scored an unbelievable goal first time. I think it was in a snowy Etihad behind closed doors. This guy's serious. He's a serious footballer. But the Leicester City story alone, I think he was more important than Vardy for me. The way he created goals out of thin air. Ranieri played 4-4-2, kept it tight at the back. He did things out of nothing.
Do you know there was a goal that Leicester scored? I saw this on Twitter the other day. I think it was against Liverpool in a pouring rain at King Power.
Yeah,
mate. Riyad Mahrez's contribution. He does so little, but yet he does so much. Ball is hoofed up right towards him. Hoofed up. It's pouring rain. It's all hectic, like a night game. The ball comes right over. Jamie Vardy makes a run. Riyad Mahrez just stands there, the ball drops, and he just cushions it. One touch, just delicately, just caresses the ball into Vardy's path. Vardy obviously runs, scores. It was so easy Or he made it look. Hang on. He made it look so easy. Didn't
easy.
break sweat. Just did it. Do you know where I think this is interesting, Booth? You and I spoke quite recently on this podcast, and I referenced Cristiano Ronaldo's suggestion of what he thought the Saudi League could be. So Cristiano Ronaldo suggested that, largely due to his own presence in it, the furtherance of the Saudi League could end up being in the top 5 leagues in the world. And you stood quite strong against that. You started saying that they'll struggle to get in the top 10, and you started saying that they need to look to be the best other league. They're not comparable to other European teams, which is what Ronaldo was suggesting. Other European leagues, sorry, which is what Ronaldo was suggesting. They're comparable to other leagues such as America. Does this change that?
No.
Okay, I'm surprised.
No, but in the sense that what constitutes the Premier League being the best league in the world, even if you don't think it is, the Spanish league, the Italian league.
Two things.
Yeah.
Players.
Yeah.
Eyeballs.
Yeah. Okay. For me, I was looking at it on a more logistical level. There are 20 sides who play in the Premier League next season. Now, this is a bad time to call it because the likes of Burnley, Bournemouth, Luton. There was a time where it was Leeds and Middlesbrough, Portsmouth, Sunderland, Newcastle, Blackburn, all playing each other, including the Villas, the Man Uniteds, Liverpools. Each side has 22, 25 players. So what's that? That's 450, 500 players. And then you've got 20 managers that are arguably all the best in the world as well, except a few that play manage in Italy and Spain and all that. So Saudi Arabia they got 15 good players, mate. They got 15 good players.
But okay,
they need 500.
They've got some of the best. Like Karim Benzema won a Ballon d'Or very recently. He's playing there.
So when they get to the number that they need to be a Premier League, if they want to be that, I don't think they want to be that.
Do you support a Saudi team?
No.
I do.
Who?
I support Al-Hilal.
Why is that?
Because they're my team. I'm an Al-Hilal man. But bringing this back to Riyad Mahrez, what sort of legacy do you think he leaves in the Premier League? An amazing stat for you. Riyad Mahrez had a goal contribution in his career in the Premier League. One every 110 minutes.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Amazing.
I can't believe his numbers. And off the top of my head, 78 goals and 59 assists in just over 200 appearances But seriously, those numbers are incredible. And because of Erling Haaland scoring 1-1, we'll look at those numbers and think, oh, whatever. He's got 128 goals in 230 appearances. It's almost a goal every game in terms of what he contributes. City now have to be completely honest with ourselves and say we need to replace like for like. İlkay Gündoğan is world class. I think he's top 5, 6, 7 of his kind in the world. He is. He's going to Barcelona. They've just won the league. We've replaced him with Kovacic. So Man City next season absolutely have to be having a winger who isn't a young kid, who is a world class talent like Riyad Mahrez, in my opinion.
Fair. I agree. I think Riyad Mahrez is an icon. Premier League Hall of Famer?
Easily.
Yeah,
look, the most interesting thing as a City fan, of course, is that replacement for Riyad Mahrez. İlkay Gündoğan's left. He's world class, in my opinion, İlkay Gündoğan, and so is Riyad Mahrez. So you can't just let these players go. And Guardiola has identified a replacement for İlkay Gündoğan, and that is, of course, Mateo Kovacic. He wanted Declan Rice as well, of course. The issue for me as a City fan is there are no replacements for Riyad Mahrez currently linked. There aren't many right wingers in the world. When they are linked, you're talking 80, 90, 100 million pounds. How many Sakas are there in the world that you can legitimately sign? There's a couple of players that City fans talk about with a glint in their eye, and one of them is Cole Palmer, obviously featured a little bit last season. Cole Palmer's he's nowhere near good enough right now to be playing in a front three with Erling Haaland. Maybe in the League Cup he is with Alvarez. Maybe Julian Alvarez plays right wing and he gets more game time. He's obviously a little bit slightly disgruntled, I think, if he's not playing as much as he'd like next season. You could play Julian Alvarez right wing, Haaland down the middle, and someone like a Jack Grealish on the left. Maybe that's how it happens next season. But the City squad, just to wrap up, Roars, is getting gutted slightly. And the only concern would be that the replacements like for like. Kovacic has come in. I really would hope that Riyad Mahrez gets a like-for-like replacement because that position is so important. We all know about City. We keep possession. We pin teams back in their final in the final third. You need someone like Riyad Mahrez who can jink it out of his feet and score a goal from 12, 14, 15 yards out. And Cole Palmer certainly isn't that player at the moment. And I think Erling Haaland wants someone that can feed the ball into him. So all in all, I'm very happy for Riyad Mahrez getting his bonus paycheck, and fair play to him.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of The Club. Please click the subscribe button. We really would appreciate it if you would join the community, and we look forward to reading your comments in the section below. In a bit, yo.